kick Vietnam syndrome once and for all.
Let me describe briefly what happened. There were 114,000 separate aerial sorties in 42 days. That's one every 30 seconds. 88,000 tons of bombs were dropped. Only 7% of the bombs that fell upon Iraq were guided. 93% were free-falling bombs that hit where chance, necessity, and no free will took them. There were 38 aircraft lost by the United States in this slaughter. That number is less than the number of accidental losses in war games where no live ammunition is even used. No enemy aircraft rose to meet them. We know that. And no enemy anti-aircraft could reach them. And those who were there at the time know that. The United States claims to have lost 148 people. It concedes that the majority were from accident and friendly fire. There was not a single U.S. tank penetrated by an Iraqi missile. There was not a single B-52 down by enemy fire. We had planes fly from Barksdale, Louisiana without ever touching the ground and return to Barksdale, Louisiana, having killed thousands of people on the ground they never saw. And one of those facts that the enemy of truth was television telling us about the surgical strikes. Nobody gets hurt. We just turn the lights out. We use fuel-air explosives, and it incinerates people, and it crushes people. And we used it against civilians and military personnel. We had missiles fired from submarines in the eastern Mediterranean for sport, just to see how they worked. We had Tomahawk cruise missiles by the hundred launched from the Persian Gulf, a couple of thousand miles from the places they hit, totally out of range. Pulled a couple of old-fashioned battleships up there and dumped 2.1 million pounds of hot metal on southern Iraq around Basra, and killing people with impunity. You remember General Kelly announced before the beginning of the so-called ground war. But there was no ground war. Name one battle. There wasn't a battle. There was a slaughter. General Kelly said when the troops finally moved forward, there are not many of them left alive to fight. And finally we learned that bulldozers and tanks with plows on the front came in and buried thousands, dead, wounded, and living. The Geneva Convention, written in the blood of millions and millions of people who died in World War II. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States Army, when asked how many casualties he thought we had inflicted on Iraqi military and civilians, said frankly, that's not a figure I'm very much interested in. 48 hours after the ceasefire, on the direct order of General Schwarzkopf, as we know, major assaults occurred that took thousands of more lives. We killed at least 125,000 soldiers. We've killed to date more than 130,000 civilians. We killed as many as we dared.
massive aerial bombardment.
The more the merrier in terms of concentrated firepower, so that the war
military machines.
The West seems to be a divergence between what the UN appears to be saying on paper and what the Allies are now saying in one form or another in reality.
security can scarcely be distorted as area with anything like the Iraqi war machine in the condition we saw in the last few days.
Except if he withdraws from Kuwait and then says, I've withdrawn, that's it, you've done what you wanted, I'm out.
I think that option has now virtually been exhausted.
Our goal remains the same, to liberate Kuwait.
This man has to comply with these resolutions without equivocation.
MPs won't be able to vote for an amendment supporting a ceasefire.
Direct hit on 2 blocks of flats in Baghdad.
Says most of the civilian damage has been caused by Iraq's own air defense missiles, which went astray.
Television has done a beautiful job of demonstration of the high-tech the Arabs will be buying in the next years.
As if incredibly accurate bombs and missiles don't do the same things to human beings as old-fashioned ones.
And F-16 is taking off with full weapons load.
At the rate of 1 every 90 seconds.
I think it's really going well.
If
I had to say something bad, I'd say I wish the weather'd be a little bit nicer right now.
52s had already begun to bomb well-protected positions of the elite Republican Guard
are being stepped up. 3,000 Allied soldiers.
B-52 bombers dropped their bombs 30 tons at a time in a 3-mile-long strip.
The effect of this on the Iraqi army is difficult to determine.
The Allies are anxious. No one should be under the illusion that this will be an easy war to win.
They kept talking about the elite Republican Guard in these hushed tones, like these guys were the bogeyman or something. Yeah, we're doing well now, but we have yet to face the elite Republican Guard. Like these guys were 12 feet tall desert warriors. Yeah, well, after 2 months of continuous carpet bombing and not one reaction at all from them, they became simply the Republican Guard. Not nearly as elite as we may have led you to believe. And after another month of bombing, they went from the elite Republican Guard to the Republican Guard to the Republicans made this shit up about there being guards out there.
Isn't in some respects the right of people to demonstrate in this way the right that we're fighting for in the Gulf?
Well, certainly not. That's a very confused statement of people's rights. They take the time of the police, the so-called demonstrators, and I don't suggest that people should feel the need to do this, because it is not gaining any political advantage at any time. It is causing a great deal of inconvenience, and it's a countless act of selfishness.
What is needed now is a clear lead to the nation in prayer.
B-52 bombers will launch raids against Iraq from Fairford in Gloucestershire because Middle East bases are too crowded.
The Allied planes are returning time and time again, selecting new targets and finishing off old ones.
2,600 sorties to
American B-52 targeting areas just 5 miles from the heart of the city, destroying the main power station.
You're not seriously suggesting that such a building would be targeted, and that really is why I'm saying.
The attacks are having a devastating effect. Day by day, more and more of Baghdad's infrastructure is being reduced to rubble.
It was a petrochemical plant. Power stations and energy-producing facilities are being steadily obliterated.
ISNTF commander has now claimed air supremacy.
They are using high-altitude bombing, and most of the civilians are paying the price.
Maybe some of the bombs which haven't been innocent civilians. We're not going to go in there and kill a lot of civilians.
The officials in the Western government are not telling the
Every
truth.
night since the war began, Baghdad has been attacked at least once, and sometimes as many as 4 times.
We also attacked power plants. 1/4 of Iraq's electrical generating facilities are completely inoperative, and another 50% suffer degraded operation.
Prime Minister John Major has rejected calls for negotiations. Iraq basically cut off from regular food and water supplies as the Allied bombs began in mid-January.
We're doing our best to abide by the Geneva Convention.
Hydroelectric installation in Iraq being bombed by the Americans.
We're doing our best to abide by the Geneva Convention.
A factory producing milk for children, that was also attacked.
We're doing our best to abide by the Geneva Convention.
The Allies are including a number of food storage and processing plants in their strategic objectives. Inside a destroyed flour mill outside Baghdad, the ruins of a potato warehouse.
We're doing our best to abide by the Geneva Convention.
Allied strike stations, oil pumping stations.
We're doing our best to abide by the Geneva Convention.
More than a third of Iraqi communications network.
We're doing our best to abide by the Geneva Convention.
The Allied determination to destroy Iraq's refining capacity.
The reactors have been destroyed.
nation and the majesty of the Oval Office. This president has always been more comfortable in an active setting, and certainly you'll have that in the White House press briefing room.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Tom. We've only had one nighttime press conference in the White House during the Bush administration. Now we have Mrs. Bush coming back. They were supposed to come back tomorrow afternoon. I suspect that when the president left for Camp David yesterday, though, he knew he might well be coming back early. Jim Baker behind the President, Secretary of State. Secretary of State has spent this abbreviated weekend with the President at Camp David, trying right up until the little deadline to avert the ground war. There was some historians who say the President wanted the ground war. I certainly have no confirmation of that. Vice President Dan Quayle and John Smedley, the White House Chief of Staff. Dan Quayle has been on all the key meetings. And if you noticed when the President came out Friday morning at the Rose Garden, Dan Quayle was the only official standing behind him. That wasn't by accident. Dan Quayle is the second-ranking figure in the United States government. There was some symbolism there. It wasn't Secretary of State Jim Baker, the President's good friend. It wasn't Brent Scowcroft, National Security Advisor. It was Dan Quayle.
John Cochran, as we watch them disappear into the Oval Office at the west wing of the White House, and you're hearing still another takeoff behind me because the resupply mission here just goes on without end. Commercial and American military aircraft bringing in everything that these troops will need, and that, of course, will be a crucial part of the work. All right, John Cochran, it's worth pointing out as well that this veteran of World War II was one of the youngest Navy flyers, George Herbert Walker Bush, has been in office just a little more than 2 years now, and we've had two significant American military combat actions, one in Panama and now one on a very large scale underway tonight in Saudi Arabia and going north into Kuwait and then very possibly into Iraq as well. The dawn is coming up in the Persian Gulf. It's now 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the White House, the President of the United States is about to report to the American people in the press briefing room. Let's go to the press briefing.
Tortured and killed. Qassim himself suffered a terminal illness before a firing squad. But in 1972, the Ba'ath government nationalized Iraq's
after
oil.
conferring with my senior national security advisors
OPEC was wresting control
and following
from the West.
extensive
As
consultations
rose,
with our
America
coalition
threatened to
partners,
invade the Gulf,
Saddam
Kuwait
Hussein
and Saudi Arabia
was given one last
oil
chance,
fields. But since a
set
clash with the
forth in
Soviets
very
was
explicit
inadvisable,
terms
more
to
discreet
do
methods
what he
of
should have
management
done
were found.
more than 6 months
Working
ago.
with the Shah of Iran,
Withdraw
the
from
CIA
Kuwait
funneled weapons to Kurdish
without
rebels
condition
in Iraq.
or further delay,
Neither government wished
and
the Kurds
comply
to win
fully
the war
with the
that followed.
resolutions passed by the United Nations Security Council. Regrettably, the noon deadline passed without the agreement of the government of Iraq
Baghdad conceded
to meet
Iranian
demands
border
of United Nations
The Shah
Security
closed the
Council
frontier to the
Resolution
rebels.
660,
American aid was withdrawn,
as set forth in
and
the
the Kurds
specific terms
forced
spelled
to
out by the
surrender.
coalition
Covert
to
actions,
withdraw
Kissinger explained,
unconditionally
should not be
from
confused
Kuwait.
with missionary work.
To the contrary, what we have seen
Repression
is a
intensified as
redoubling
Iraq moved towards
of Saddam
dictatorship,
Hussein's
but
efforts to
Western
destroy
companies vied for
completely
business as the
Kuwait
Ba'ath Party began to spend.
and its people.
Oil revenues were
I have
invested
therefore
in the country,
directed
and a modern infrastructure
General Norman
built.
Schwarzkopf,
Roads,
in conjunction with
clean
coalition
water,
forces,
power,
to use all
subsidized,
forces available,
healthcare and education free.
including ground forces,
Qassim's vision of an
to
independent
eject
nation
the Iraqi
was within
army
reach.
from Kuwait. Once again, this was a decision made only after extensive consultations within our coalition partnership.
Senator Henry Jackson's report to the
The
Natural
liberation of
Resources
Kuwait has
Committee
now entered a
advised
final
that
phase.
The defense of the oil resources of the Gulf
I have complete
constitutes one of the most
confidence
vital and enduring
in the
interests
ability of the coalition forces
Iran had provided a cover for
swiftly
American
and decisively
interests, but that was about
to
change.
accomplish their mission.
In 1979,
Tonight
the
is
Shah was
this
overthrown,
coalition
and the Ayatollah
of countries
Khomeini
seeks to
swept
do that
Iran in
which
an
is
Islamic
right and
revolution.
just.
Tensions
I
flared as
ask
he
only
denounced America
that all of
and
you
the new president of Iraq.
stop what you were doing and say a prayer for all the coalition forces,
Iraq invaded.
and especially for our men and women in uniform
Years of bloody
who this
trench
very
warfare
moment
followed.
are
Iran
risking their
attacked
lives for
human
their
waves of
country
soldiers, some
and
as
for
young
all
as
of us.
14. And Iraq
May God
used
bless
chemical
and
weapons.
protect each
But
and
despite
every
an
one of them,
international arms ban,
and may God bless the United States
and
of
both
America.
superpowers supplied
Thank you very much.
Soviets
on board, Soviets on board. Aligned against Ayatollah Khomeini and the Iranians.
President Bush, with a very short statement, restatement really, the diplomatic efforts that have been made thus far in an effort to get Saddam Hussein to pull out of Kuwait. The president then saying, since that was not successful, that he authorized General Norman Schwarzkopf, who is the American commander of the Allied force here, to use all forces available to him to force the Iraqi army out of Kuwait. The liberation of Kuwait, as the president put it, is now in its final phase. Then he ended with an appeal to the country to stop whatever you're doing and to say a prayer on behalf of all of the forces, but especially the American troops who are risking their lives for their country and for the liberation of Kuwait. Tonight, Central Command will not speculate on when the war may be over. As one general said, we will continue to attack, attack, attack. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Saudi Arabia.
Saddam Hussein tried to end the war earlier today. He was on the radio overnight saying that the withdrawal of all his troops from Kuwait would be completed by tonight. He was wrong. President Bush responded by saying Saddam is not interested in peace, but only to regroup and fight another day. At the White House, ABC's Britt Hume.
4 days ago, the president prepared a statement in the Oval Office, much as he did today. In it, he offered to hold off a ground assault if Saddam would accept all UN resolutions and withdraw from Kuwait in a week. But that was then, and this is now, and Saddam's order to his forces to retreat did him no good today.
Saddam's most recent speech is an outrage. He is not withdrawing. His defeated forces are retreating. He is trying to claim victory in the midst of a rout. And he is not voluntarily giving up Kuwait. The coalition will therefore continue to prosecute the war with undiminished intensity.
The president got a briefing on the progress of the war today from Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Powell, who told him elite Republican Guard units in southern Iraq have been trapped, cut off, and cannot escape with their armor. Powell also said armed Iraqi units attempting to leave Kuwait are under withering Allied attack. The president reacted to that briefing in a speech at nearby Fort Myer later.
We are not only on schedule, we're ahead of schedule. And no commander-in-chief has ever been so proud of America's men and women in uniform.
In the faces of the president's men today, you could see that, as one White House official put it, they were beginning to believe the news from the front. That was during a ceremony for visiting Colombian President Gaviria. Afterward, the focus returned to the Gulf and the task of dealing with a post-war Iraq the administration regretfully assumes will still be under the control of Saddam Hussein. Britt Hume, ABC News, the White House.